Aloha folks, and welcome to today's video. As you can see, I'm getting outside of the box of where I typically make videos, and today we're in the garage, and we have our garage picture frame over here of some deer at a stream. And getting outside the box is a little meditation I'd like to share. This is an active meditation. And as a matter of fact, this is a meditation with a buddy that you can do if you're willing. So you can just contemplate this as well, but actually going and doing this is really interesting. So I have a friend who recently purchased a new Jeep, Rubicon, and he wanted to take it off-roading, but in the spirit of safety measures, he didn't want to go alone. He wanted to go with someone with some experience, and he chose me. If he wanted to bring his comfort level and safety to another level, particularly if we were going to go on a more difficult trail, he might have asked me to tag along, and we could have convoyed with 2 vehicles. Boy, that would have been fun. But you know, there's definitely something about having someone in the vehicle with you that you can share the joy and the discovery and the wonder with. As much fun as it is to go in a convoy, if we're going to go in a convoy of two cars, we got to have 4 people, 2 people each car. We need to keep each other company. It's just so much more fun. And it's a lot better when you see an animal. Hey, look, there's a deer. You can share that joy with your friend. So we went ahead. If you're familiar with the Las Vegas area, there's a area to the northeast of the valley, just north of Valley of Fire, past Moapa, called Logandale Trails. And so we went over to Logandale Trails. And there's a main trail with many other little trails that branch off of the main trail. The main trail is relatively sandy and straightforwardly easy, you could say. And the trails that branch out, their difficulty ranges. And so now that my friend had me as a buddy, we were going to go a little bit beyond his comfort zone, which is what he wanted. He wanted to get a better idea of what the capabilities of his new Jeep. What are those capabilities? Was his question. So here comes the meditation or the contemplation, depending on how far you actually want to go with this. When you're driving in your car, it's like your ego, sitting wherever the seat of consciousness may lie. Let's just say it's in your head. Okay? Let's just say, for example, we don't really know where the seat is, but you see out of your eyes, and that is that's on your head. So let's just say the seat of the consciousness that says, I'm in this body, I'm walking over here, I'm moving my hand, I'm talking. That seat, the little I, as some people may say, the little I, let's just say the little I resides in your head. Okay? So when you're driving your car and you're in the driver's seat behind the steering wheel, you're in your seat of consciousness. Okay? So when you look out the windshield, when you look out the windows, you have a certain line of sight, right? You can't see what's directly in front of the bumper. That's why some of the newer vehicles have cameras and etc. We have side mirrors because you can't see what's going on with your back tires unless you stick your head out of the window and gosh, trying to see the back passenger tire, sticking your head out of the driver's side window. So we have these things, these tools that can aid us while we're within that driver's seat. And the same thing for your seat of consciousness in your body. You know, I have a very small group of friends that know my blind spot joke. Blind spot, the flotation devices. But basically, if I were to stand up perfectly straight and look directly down, or if you were to stand up perfectly straight and look directly down, can you see your feet? And depending on your body shape, you may or may not be able to see your feet. And so it's the same thing in your car. You can't see your front tires when you're sitting normally in the driver's seat. So when you're off-roading and there are obstacles such as rocks, ditches, washouts, you name it, these things can be rather tricky to navigate. And same thing with life. It can be rather difficult to navigate emotional or mental turmoil, strife, whatever the environment may be. And so the importance of meditation in general and of talking to the right people is illustrated in this example. So my friend got up to what I considered, because we all have our own experience levels, we got up to a little rocky obstacle with a sharp drop on the other end. And the best way for us to move through, move beyond this obstacle was for me as the passenger to get out of the vehicle and serve as a spotter. So, you know, this is like when you're having a hard time in life and you need to go to a therapist. You need to go to your good friend. You need to go to your shamanic practitioner. You need to go to your frequency attuner. I don't know what their official name is. You know, with those tuning forks, that thing is great. You need to go to your Reiki master. You need to go to your massage therapist. Whatever the case may be, you need to go to someone outside of yourself to help you reground, because there's only so much you can see from within that passenger seat. But you can take it up to the next level, because I kept spotting for my friend, because I knew the capabilities of his vehicle to a degree, and I know the capabilities of vehicles in general due to my experience. And at some point we decided to swap. So he was letting me drive his Jeep a little bit, which helped me get a feel for what he was feeling. But we got to some obstacles and he wasn't sure that he could make it. And I felt very confident that he could actually drive that obstacle without me spotting. And he didn't know. He was very concerned. So what we did was I had him get out of the vehicle and I had him walk the obstacle with me. You know, that's very much therapeutic. When you have a problem in your life, how do I approach talking to a person about X, Y, and Z? How do I approach talking to my mother-in-law? How do I, whatever. How do I approach rearing my child who is dealing with X, Y, and Z? How do I approach the fact that my mother-in-law is no longer living and yet I have all of these traumas from my, well, I guess you could say stepmom, if, whatever the case may be. Traumas from my childhood, and I can't talk to the perpetrator because they're dead or they're in jail or whatever. So it's important to find people, therapists of some sort, healers of some sort, that have been through that experience, because they can walk you through it, because they've been through it. And then at some point, and this is why I really like shamanic journeys and things of that nature, and really deep introspection so deep that it takes you away from yourself. In this regard, let me give you my Jeep example. So like I said, I got my friend out of his car, out of the Jeep, and I had him walk the actual obstacle. And I said, it's not so bad. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay out here. You're gonna stay outside of the Jeep. Because I kept trying to explain something to him with regard to clearance. How when he got when he would get his tires on one side of let's say an embankment, like if we're going uphill, and in the center of the road is a V-shaped wash. You want to get your tires straddling it on either side, and he was concerned about clearance. And I'm like, well, once you get your tires up there, it's going to increase your clearance because your vehicle will be up higher. And he just couldn't grasp what I was saying. So I got him out and I said, look, this is easy enough that I can see what's going on. I can see how to drive it. It's difficult enough that you don't think you can clear this obstacle. So you stand outside the vehicle and I'm going to drive down or up or whatever it was. And you're going to see what the car looks like driving over these obstacles. And I did that. And after he watched me drive his Jeep over this obstacle, he had a new understanding of the capabilities of his car, his Jeep. He saw what it was like to watch someone go over the obstacle. He could see how the vehicle moved over. He could see that what felt like a terrifying tilt was actually no big deal from the outside. The weight was still, the center of gravity was low enough in the vehicle. There was no chance of rollover. I pulled him out of his body. We need people in our lives. We need to be willing to trust people in our lives to help take us out of our bodies, to get a better understanding of what our vehicle can do. Our body is our vehicle, and we need allies. We need allies. So, gosh, it felt like a little bit of a ramble. I've been very busy this week, so this is the video I've got for you. And if you're not into off-roading, go parallel park. Go get a buddy and parallel park. Find a parallel parking spot that you think is too narrow, and watch your trustworthy friend parallel park your car and get a better idea of how the vehicle moves from the outside, when you know what they're doing on the inside. It's an interesting meditation to realize that your seat of consciousness is just like you sitting in the driver's seat of your car. There's so much to see. The windshield, out the side windows, out the rear view and side mirrors. You can stick your head out of the window. But there is a way to actually get out of the car and watch your own vehicle move down the road. So in the vehicle example, you need a buddy. But in real life, maybe in the beginning you need a help from a shamanic practitioner or another kind of healer. But eventually you can do it yourself, because you're always there, and you can be inside and outside at the same time. And that's the paradox of being a soul having a human experience. Thank you.